Candidates, it's now time for your 1-minute opening statement. The order that we will be doing those will be Ms. Wheeler, Mr. Laguerre, Ms. Lawson, Ms. Hunter-Holen. Ms. Wheeler.
Good evening. My name is Maya Wheeler. I'm running for Aurora City Council. Like you heard, I've lived in Aurora for over 20 years. I live in Ward 5. I have 3 children. My son Daniel's 21. I have an 18-year-old Jessica, and I have an 8-year-old Kimani. I'm also the chair of the Aurora Human Relations Commission. I'm a mentor and advisor to the Immigrant and Refugee Task Force. I'm also president of Colorado Black Women for Political Action, and I'm a 2015-2016 participant of Leadership Aurora. I'm passionate about the quality of life Aurora residents have, so I'm passionate about economic development, meaning good paying jobs and small businesses development, affordable housing, and healthy and safe neighborhoods.
Thank you, Ms. Wheeler. Mr. Laguerre.
Thank you. My name is Bob Laguerre, and I'm one of your current Aurora City Council members at large. And I've had the honor of serving 3 terms on the Aurora City Council at the end of this term. I was elected twice in the 1990s, and I left the City Council for 8 years. And I am passionate about Aurora and decided I wanted to get back involved, ran in 2011, and I was elected again in 2011. What I focused on in my last 4 years and the years prior that I served on council, I've always been a voice for efficient spending of taxpayer dollars. And I've worked on getting our road maintenance dollars set aside properly. And the things I go after are not glamorous, and they sometimes get arrows and spears thrown at me, but it's important to do that. So I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Laguerre. Ms. Lawson.
My name is Angela Lawson, and I am running for City Council at large. This is my second. This is. Will I still get my minute?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm running for City Council at large. This is the second time that I ran. I ran in 2013. I've lived in the city for 14 years. I've worked for the Secretary of State's office for 10 years. So I've been in public service for 10 years. I'm a member of the Citizens Advisory Budget Committee, which I've been a member of that committee for 3 years. I'm also on the Committee of Housing and Development. And some of the things that I'm concerned about are I'm an advocate for public safety, smart and better economic growth, and really really important is community involvement and connecting people with their local government.
Thank you, Ms. Lawson. I'm sorry for the error on your.
That's okay. Thank you for giving me my minute.
Okay. Ms. Hunter-Holen.
Hi, my name is Debbie Hunter-Holen. I'm running for a second term for City Council at large. And I currently work with the Aurora Public Schools as the community engagement advocate. As a City Council member, I have been appointed to the National League of Cities Economic Development Steering and Policy Committees. I am on the Urban Drainage Committee. I serve on the Aurora Public Schools Foundation, the AGRIC Steering Committee, Aurora Boards the Night, Aurora at Home, and the MLK Committee. I have been endorsed by the Aurora Police Association, the Aurora Firefighters, Local 1290, and the Housing and Building Association. Sorry about that. And I am currently married to my husband, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you. My first question will be for Ms. Hunter-Holen and Mr. Laguerre. My question is this. It will come as no surprise to you that our community is perhaps less informed than some other areas about the amount of tax revenue from the marijuana retail outlet up on Smoky Hill Road. Can you tell us how many city-specific tax dollars are expected from the sale of marijuana in Aurora during 2015 and 2016? And most importantly, what projects are you promoting for this revenue? Ms. Hunter-Hogan.
So the revenues from the marijuana taxes have been approximately $6.8 million between 2015 and 2016. And we have earmarked these dollars to go into improved infrastructure throughout the city and a recreational center that we will be doing through a bond, and homeless initiative, and I think most of it's going into infrastructure throughout the city, roads, maintenance, medians.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Hunter-Hogan. Mr. Laguerre.
Thank you. And the figures I recall are roughly 8 million between 2015 and 2016. It's approximately 2.7 million for 2015, and the balance is 2016 projected. And the two biggest areas that, in my mind, the two most important areas are the fact that we set aside for roads. And I would like to see this marijuana money be spent on one-time expenditures, because as we all know, marijuana is not legal federally, and if for any reason it stops, we shouldn't be hiring 50 or 100 employees based on marijuana revenue. It should go into the roads, it should go into the recreation center, and things that we know we can pay for, and treat it as one-time revenue.
Thank you, Mr. Laguerre. The next question will be for Ms. Lawson and Ms. Wheeler. My question is this. Southeast Aurora is perceived to be newer and more affluent than some other areas of the city. Things like metro district fees or developer fees are often mentioned to fund infrastructure costs in this part of town. Is Ward 6 on an equal or different funding priority for you, and why? If equal, how will we be able to see this commitment? Ms. Lawson.
That's a good question. I actually live in Ward 5, so I don't live in Ward 6. So definitely there is some definite income differences between Ward 5 and Ward 6, even though there's we're kind of on the southeast part of Aurora. So as far as the tax base, to ensure that if you're talking about equality, I mean, it depends on where you live. I'm suspecting that if you live out this way, you're going to pay a lot more tax than probably what I pay. And so to ensure, what was the second part of the question? I'm sorry.
Well, the question was, things like metro district fees or developer fees are often mentioned to fund infrastructure costs in this part of town. Is Ward 6 on an equal funding or a different funding priority for you, and why? And if equal, how will we be able to see this commitment?
Well, you're definitely on a different, because you do have the metro district, so it's different than where the other wards are. And I think that because you have the metro districts, of course the funding is going to be different, the tax base is going to be different than other wards in the city.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Wheeler?
That's a difficult question. I live in Ward 5 as well. You're on a different tax system, but one of the things I talked about being passionate about was affordable housing. So I would like to see more equity, especially with developer fees and things like that, so that housing is affordable for everyone and not just the elite. And so I don't have a lot of knowledge on this, but I would do my best to find out more and try to make it more equitable so that more affordable housing can be available out here.
Thank you very much. The next question will be from Ms. Wheeler and Ms. Hunter-Hogan. The question is this. We have several vacancies in the nearby shopping centers Marketplace or Safeway, and Target. What would you do to incent business to fill these empty spaces? Ms. Wheeler.
A lot of times we use tax incentives, so the business owners that come into these areas, they don't have to pay taxes for a while to help cover the costs, and that could be a potential, but when using tax incentives, I'd like to place restrictions on those incentives to say they have to hire a Aurora resident, or there's some type of benefit that goes to the resident, but I would suggest tax incentive financing.
Great, thank you. Ms. Hunter-Holden.
It's my understanding that Safeway was promised, maybe not promised, but maybe had the assumption that the Aurora Parkway was going to be built out. And that hasn't happened. So I think the first thing that we would need to do to attract business and keep business would be to build out that Aurora Parkway all the way through. And that way we would have a way for our residents and our people who want to buy things, right, to come to a way to get there, a way to get out, and it would make it a lot easier and more attractive for other businesses to come in.
Thank you very much. The next question will be from Mr. Laguerre and Ms. Lawson. I'm sure you heard the questions asked of Ward 6 candidates about our traffic safety questions on Gartrell Road. In keeping with that theme, where does the funding for roads and medians in this part of Southeast Aurora fall on your priority list?
Thank you. I would say that, again, I'm going to go back to the marijuana money, because I think that that is an area where we can do a lot of things in all the wards, including Ward 6, because that's essentially new money. It's not, we didn't budget it. We didn't set it aside until 2 weeks ago when we had a special session for it. And we project that it's going to be coming in the future. So I think that that's an area where we can do more with roads in Ward 6. I think some of it will go to medians. And I do believe that we've heard loud and clear, especially from Ward 6, that we don't want to see taxes raised to do roads. And so we now have a fund called the Marijuana Fund that it's going to be a priority for me to try and steer as much of that money as possible toward roads.
Thank you, Mr. Laguerre. Ms. Lawson.
Well, roads are a priority, and again, we can use some of the marijuana funds as well. But I also think that we should also think of some out-of-the-box thinking ways to get funding. For example, we have the red light cameras. And a lot of that money goes to a lot of the Nexus programs, which I think we definitely need to have. However, why don't we take some of that funding and maybe use some of that funding for some of the infrastructure problems or transportation roads that we have in Ward 6 and also throughout the city as well. I think we need to start thinking about out-of-the-box thinking of how we can finance things as well. It's not really trying to get rid of things, but maybe ways that we can just move money. So that's how I would, and again, roads are a priority in the city and in this area as well.
Thank you, Ms. Lawson. The next question will be from Ms. Hunter-Holden and Mr. Laguerre. My question is this. As we look out on the housing building explosion to our south and east, what is your vision for funding the infrastructure requirements to support this growth?
I think, again, and Councilmember Laguerre has already mentioned, that the marijuana money should be used for infrastructure and creating ways, safe ways to get to and from your residence, to your shopping areas, to your workplaces, and back home. And the roads really need to be maintained and upgraded and expanded. So I think the marijuana money would be the best way to do that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Laguerre.
With new development, the master developer is required to build the major arterials and all of the city roads. And they have obligations to do that as they build out the subdivision. The bigger issue for the city of Aurora is for when those roads start requiring maintenance. And we in Aurora, when the budget crunch came, when the economy crashed in 2007 and 2008, the city of Aurora, I wasn't on the council, but to balance the budget, they had to cut capital project funding by tens of millions of dollars over the next several years. And we have not yet restored the road maintenance aspect of that. So the bigger issue in my mind is, as these new subdivisions build out, where are we going to have the money to maintain them? And even your neighborhoods in Ward 6, in the newer part of Ward 6, they're going to be at an age where they need maintenance, and we don't have enough money to do them all.
Thank you. This next question is for all four of you. We will go Ms. Lawson, Mr. Laguerre, Ms. Wheeler, and Ms. Hunter-Holden. My question is this: if elected, what are your first-year priorities, and how do your budget priorities support these goals? Ms. Lawson.
The first priority for me is to really learn council and to learn how council works. I think that that's really going to be the first priority. Second priority is really trying to do engagement. I really believe that being the conduit between the residents and city government is very important. Then we get down to really talking about public safety, and then I also want to talk about the economic growth and economic development in our infrastructure. So those are some of the priorities that I would do as starting out with council. In terms of the budget piece of it, you got to definitely, it's economics, you got to look at the budget, see, you can't fulfill everything. But where are the priorities, where are the needs, what are the current council priorities right now, and where do they kind of fit into how we can make sure that the city advances and becomes a vibrant place.
Thank you, Ms. Lawson. Mr. Laguerre.
Yes, and I hate to keep going back to the marijuana money, but it really is, it's really a good deal. I don't smoke the stuff, but to think that we got $8 million to spend between 15 and 16, and that's found money. So one of my priorities is going to be to work with the city council on how to spend that in the future, because we've done the first section, we've done 2 years worth, but this council, wherever the council ends up being in January, they can set the policy as to where that money's going to be spent in the future, and that's very, very important. And it does take 6 votes, so it'll take a lot of work with council colleagues to get this done and to get the money directed in the right direction.
Thank you, Mr. Laguerre. Ms. Wheeler?
My priority will be those residents of Aurora. And so with that being, I would like to see us use some of that one-time marijuana money for the victims of the movie theater shooting to help them complete their memorial that they have. I think that would be a good use of the money. And then again, I'm about economic development. So how can we work with small businesses to help them grow? We do a lot of great things and give incentives to big business, but what can we do for small business? So that'll be a priority for me as well. And then again, affordable housing. We looked at the construction defect and the city passed an ordinance on that, but we still have these development fees and water tap fees that make it very expensive to build housing in Aurora. So I'd like to look into that. And also making sure we have healthy and safe neighborhoods, especially out here where there's fracking. So I'd like us to look at the city ordinance to see what we can do regarding gas and oil to protect our residents.
Thank you, Ms. Wheeler. Ms. Hunter-Holden?
I would really like to continue protecting the missions on Buckley Air Force Base, supporting and developing the trans-oriental development along the light rail, bringing in affordable housing, attacking our transportation and our infrastructure issues around transportation, including the widening of Gun Club Road. There is something that has to be done on Gun Club Road. We just can't work our city the way it is any longer without widening Gun Club Road. So those are the things that I would like to continue doing, and in addition to that, just bringing the calm voice to council, the person who listens before making the decision.
Thank you. The next question will be for Ms. Wheeler and Ms. Lawson. The closest RTD stop is in Southland. That's 3 miles away. It takes us out of range to qualify for access-a-ride. As our population gets older, this type of service may be needed. How can City Council help? Ms. Wheeler.
I think we can leverage our relationship with RTD to see and talk to also our RTD board members to see what can be done. I know we have assess-a-ride and assess-a-taxi because part of my job is I work as a community outreach liaison for seniors. I help families navigate that long-term care system. So I would think that would be an opportunity for City Council and RTD to see what we can come up with for our seniors, because every day 7,000 people are turning 65. So it's just the problem's going to get worse. So there do have to be something done. I don't know what the exact thing is, but I would think our two organizations, especially since we've worked together for light rail projects along 225 and in the middle of Aurora, that we could come up with a plan for seniors out here.
Thank you. Of course, 65 out here might be our jogging club. Ms. Lawson?
I definitely agree with Ms. Wheeler. I think we need to have a collaboration with RTD and sit down and actually talk about those issues to see what we can do to bring out that kind of accessibility. When I think about my parents are in their 70s, so they're kind of facing some of the same things. So I really think that it's important that we do some kind of collaboration, but also maybe look at some other partnerships and kind of see if there's some ways that we can actually, collaborate with other businesses or people outside of RTD as well, to see if we can all come to the table and if there's something that we can bring out here, definitely for accessibility for seniors.
Thank you very much. The next question is for all 4 of you. The order will be Mr. Laguerre, Ms. Hunter-Boland, Ms. Wheeler, and Ms. Lawson. To my knowledge, Heritage Eagle Bend and Heather Gardens are the only active adult 55 and older communities in Aurora. Next year, our new neighbors to the south will make it 3. What is the city doing to address the unique challenges and opportunities that such communities bring? And how can we be assured that you will continue to listen to us with an active ear? Mr. Laguerre.
Thank you. And I think that this is an issue where we've got one senior center in the entire city. And, well, sorry, that was politically incorrect. It's the Aurora Center for Active Adults. But I do think we need to do a better job of this. A lot of times, what I hear is that, down there in Ward 6, the senior community, they're all wealthy. They don't need help. They don't need these services. But I think that we should be doing a better job in that area, and we can certainly work with RTD, like on the last question. I think we need to do a better job in that area. And I will say that it's one that City Council, myself included, have not spent enough time.
Thank you. Ms. Hunter-Boland.
Thank you. I believe that we do not have enough services for our active adults, and our whole city is aging. And with the development of light rail and the TODs, one of the groups that we would like to attract are senior citizens, the folks who are downsizing, need smaller dwellings, and with that, we need to make sure that there are services for them. We need to do a better job with providing services and even exploring services that need to be provided. We we do need to do a better job with that.
Thank you. Ms. Wheeler?
Well, the city has an aging commission, a senior commission, and I would like for us to utilize them more to hear from seniors in the community regarding what their needs are. And I'd like us to put more resources into protecting seniors with elder abuse with the police department. I think we only have a few elder bar officers, I forget what they're called, the senior area representatives. We have only a few of those, and I'd like to see us do more to protect our seniors. And then also making sure we provide programs to work with our caregivers as well, and to see different things we can do with taxes for their like on property taxes, different things we can do to help them and be able to afford those taxes. But there's a big push at the state right now. They have a senior task force to look at, and come up with a plan for the next 5 years.
Great, thank you. Ms. Lawson?
I definitely think that it should be a priority, and it would be a priority for me because, again, as I look at my parents, it kind of is a reflection of the needs that we need in a city that is aging. We need to make sure that we have appropriate housing and downsizing in community centers. We also need to make sure we have the appropriate transportation. But what I think is important is that everybody should kind of come to the table. We should have, if we have the aging commission, they should come to the table. We should listen as council people to see what the needs are. So I think for me, I would definitely reach out for sure to these communities to kind of say, what are the priorities? What are the needs? How can we as council members make things better for you to live in this community? Because you are a vital part of this community. We need you in this community. You're vested in the community. So it's important that we listen to you.
Thank you very much. Now, candidates, it's time for our closing statements. The order that you will be sharing those thoughts with us will be Ms. Hunter Holland, Ms. Lawson, Mr. Laguerre, Ms. Wheeler. Ms. Hunter Holland.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for sharing my thoughts, and I hope that I have convinced you that I will bring a calm, collected, reasonable voice to City Council. My name is Debbie Hunter Holland, and I'm running for re-election for City Council. And I would like to share a quote by Franklin D. Roosevelt. Democracy cannot succeed unless those who express their choice are prepared to choose wisely. The real safeguard of democracy, therefore, is education. So thank you for this opportunity to educate you.
Thank you, Ms. Hunter Holland. Ms. Lawson.
I want to first thank for Heritage Eagle Bend for inviting us and listening to all of the candidates. I'm a new person on council. I really want to be vested. I've been vested in the city for 14 years. Been part of the CABC for 3 years. Learning about the city, getting knowledgeable about what's going on in the different areas. I don't know everything. It's kind of like this would be a new job. I'm learning as I would go, but with definitely with some great leadership that's currently on council. But what I want to bring to the city, I want to be a new voice, and to get that opportunity to do so, that will work hard to ensure that we build a city that is safe, connected, and vibrant. So I want to thank everybody, and thank you for letting me speak here today.
Thank you, Ms. Lawson. Mr. Laguerre.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. And I feel like since the police and fire union put these flyers on the back table, I've got to say something about them. They're putting out these flyers saying Laguerre is against public safety. And I've been on council for 12 years. I've approved 12 budgets and have never once voted against anything police or fire in the budgets. The reason police don't like me is because I speak out about our hiring mandate. That's the mandate that puts less than 1 cop per 1,000 in your neighborhood and 5 in mine. It's not sensible. And then the fire department doesn't like me because I kept asking the question, why do we roll a big fire engine with 6 people on it for all the medical calls? Denver doesn't do that. They roll an ambulance with 2. Anyway, I want to ask for your vote. I appreciate your giving us this opportunity to speak, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bear. Mr. Wheeler.
I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight and the staff here who asked us these questions, because you could have been doing a lot of other things this evening, so I really appreciate your time and value it. I'm a quality of life candidate once again, so I really care about the lives of Aurora residents. I will be a voice for you. You can share your concerns, your passions, and I'll take that to City Council. I have a logo that says, and a slogan that says, together we can accomplish anything, and I really believe together we can accomplish everything together. Because some of the questions I was asked here tonight about the Metro District, I had no clue because I live in Ward 5 and I hadn't been impacted by that. But if you call me up and you tell me your concerns, I'm going to look into it and see what we can do together to make things better. I'm about good paying jobs, small business development, affordable housing, and healthy and safe communities. I've been endorsed by the Denver Area Labor Federation, the local pipe fitters, 208, and Morgan Carroll, Senator Morgan Carroll, Representative Ron Fields, and Janet Buckner. And thank you. Please vote for me when you get your ballots next week.
Thank you.